Good day everyone. I am Jerilyn Maslamama. Today I will discuss about last homecoming and trial. The last homecoming of Rizal and the saddest return to his beloved native land, he knew that he will be facing the supreme test, the sacrifice of his life, but he is unafraid. He welcomed it gladly that he is sure that his blood will water the seeds of Filipino freedom. October 6, 1896, Rizal conscientiously recorded the event in his diary. He was given a good cabin in the screwed glass, and although strictly guarded, he was courteously greeted by the army officers. The officer on duty seems amiable, refined, polite, consistent with his seriousness of his duty. October 8, a friendly officer told Rizal that Madrid newspaper were full of stories about the bloody revolution in the Philippines and were blaming him for it. He wrote in his diary on the same date, October 8. Unsuccessful rescue in Singapore. News of Rizal's predicament reached his friend in Europe and in Singapore. From London, Dr. Antonio Regidor and Sicto Lopez dispatched frantic telegrams to an English lawyer in Singapore named Hugh Fort to rescue Rizal from the Spanish steamer when it reached Singapore by means of writ of habeas corpus. Attorney Fort instituted proceeding at the Singapore court for the removal of Rizal from the steamer. The crux of Mr. Fort's legal contention was that Rizal was illegally detained on a Spanish steamer. Chief Justice Lionel Cox denied the writ, the ground that the colon was carrying Spanish troops to the Philippines. Hence, it was a warship of a foreign power under the international law beyond the jurisdiction of the Singapore authorities. Arrival in Manila. November 3, the colon reached Manila and Rizal was transferred in Fort Santiago. Meanwhile, the Spanish authorities finished for evidence against Rizal. Many Filipinos patriots, including Deodato Arellano, Dr. Pio Valenzuela, Moises Salvador, Jose Dizon, Doroteo Franco, Timoteo Pais, and Pedro Seriano Lactao, were brutally tortured to implicate Rizal. Rizal's own brother Pasiano was arrested and cruelly tortured, but they never signed any damaging statement incriminating Rizal. Although their body was shattered on the torture rack and his left hand crushed by the screw, their valiant Asian spirit remained unbroken. Preliminary investigation. November 20, the preliminary investigation began. Rizal, the accused, appeared before the judge, Advocate Colonel Francisco Olive. He was subjected to a grueling 5-day investigation. Two kinds of evidence presented against Rizal, namely, a documentary one, a letter of Antonio Luna to Mariano Ponce, October 16, 1888, in Madrid, showing Rizal's connection with the Filipinos campaign in Spain. 2. A letter of Rizal to his family, August 20, 1890, in Madrid, stating that the deportations are good for they will encourage the people to hate tyranny. Number 3. A letter from Marcelo del Pilar to Deodato Arellano, January 7, 1889, in Madrid, implicating Rizal in propaganda campaign in Spain. Number 4. A poem entitled Kundiman, allegedly written by Rizal in Manila, September 12, 1891. Testimonial. The testimonial evidence consisted of the oral of Martin Constantino, Aguedo del Rosario, Jose Reyes, Moises Salvador, Jose Dizon, Domingo Franco, Deodato Arellano, Ambrosio Salvador, Pedro Serrano, Lactao, Dr. Pio Valenzuela, Antonio Salazar, Francisco Quezon, and Timoteo Pais. On November 26, after the preliminary investigation, Colonel Olive transmitted the record of the case to the Governor General Ramon Blanco, and the latter appointed Captain Rafael Dominguez as a special judge advocate to institute the corresponding action against Rizal. Dominguez made a brief resume of the charge and returned the papers to Governor Gen Blanco, who thereupon transmitted to the judge advocate Don Nicolas de la Pena for an opinion. After studying the papers, Pena submitted the following recommendation. 1. The accused be immediately brought to trial. 2. He should be kept in prison. 3. An order of attachment be issued against his property to the amount of 1 million pesos and indemnity. 4. He should be defended in court by an army officer, not by a civilian lawyer. The trial of Rizal. The trial of Rizal was very eloquent proof of Spanish injustice and misrule. His case was prejudged. He was considered guilty before the actual trial. The military court met not to give justice but to condemn him. At 8 o'clock on December 26, 1896, the court-martial of Rizal started the trial for an opinion. After studying the papers, Pena submitted the following recommendation. 1. The accused be immediately brought to trial. 2. He should be kept in prison. 3. An order of attachment be issued against his property to the amount of 1 million pesos and indemnity. 4. He should be defended in court by an army officer, not by a civilian lawyer. The trial of Rizal. The trial of Rizal was very eloquent proof of Spanish injustice and misrule. His case was prejudged. He was considered guilty before the actual trial. The military court met not to give justice but to condemn him. At 8 o'clock on December 26, 1896, the court-martial of Rizal started the trial of Rizal. The trial of Rizal was very eloquent proof of Spanish injustice and misrule. His case was prejudged. He was considered guilty before the actual trial. The military court met not to give justice but to condemn him. At 8 o'clock on December 26, 1896, the court-martial of Rizal started. At 8 o'clock a.m. December 26, 1896, the court-martial of Rizal stated military building called Cuartel de España, Alti Col Jose Togueres, Arjona, President Captain Ricardo Munoz Arias, Captain Manuel Reguera, Captain Santiago, Captain Braulio Rodriguez Nunez, Captain Manuel Diaz, Captain Fermin Perez, also present at the courtroom where Dr. Rizal accused Alti Tavil de Andrade, his defense counsel, Captain Rafael Domingo, judge advocate, Alti Enrique de Alcocer, prosecuting attorney, and the spectators. Among spectators were Josephine Brasken, some newspapermen, and many Spaniards. Rizal read his own defense, which he wrote in his cell in Fort Santiago. According to Rizal, there are 12 points to prove his innocence. Number 1. As testified by Pio Valenzuela, Rizal was against rebellion. Number 2. He had not written a letter addressed to the Katipunan comprising revolutionary elements. Number 3. Without his knowledge, his name was used by Katipunan. If he really was guilty, he could have escaped while he was in Singapore. If he was guilty, he should have left the country while in exile. He shouldn't have built a home, a parcel of land, or established a hospital in the Pitan. Number 5. If he was really the leader of the revolutionists should have consulted him. 6. He did not deny that he wrote by law of the La Liga Filipina. But to make things clear, the organization was a civic association, not a revolutionary society. 7. After the first meeting of La Liga, the association vanished because of this exile in Dapitan, thus did not last long. Number 8. If the La Liga was reorganized 9 months later, he had no idea about it. 9. If the La Liga had a revolutionary purpose, then Katipunan should not have been organized. If the Spanish authorities found this letter having bitter atmosphere, it was because in 1890 his family was being persecuted, resulting to their dispossession of properties and deportation of all his brother-in-law. 11. He lived an exemplary life in Dapitan. The political military commanders and missionary priests in the province could attest to that. If, according to witnesses, the speech he delivered in Doroteo Onjungko's house has inspired the revolution, then he wanted to confront this person if really was for the revolution. Then why did the Katipunan send unfamiliar emissary to him in Dapitan? It is because all his friends were aware that he never advocated violence. The military court, prejudiced as it was, remained indifferent to Rizal pleading. After a short deliberation, the military court unanimously voted for the sentence of death. December 26, the court decision was submitted to Governor General Polajeva. Immediately, Polajeva saw the opinion of Advocate General Nicolas de la Peña on the court decision. The letter affirmed to the death verdict. Polajeva signs Rizal's execution. On December 28, 1896, approved the decision of court-martial and ordered Rizal to be shot at 7 o'clock in the morning on December 30 at Bagumbayan Field, Luneta. The decree runs like this. Manila, December 28, 1896, conformably to the foregoing opinion, I approve the sentence dictated by the court-martial in the present case by virtue of which the death penalty is imposed of the accused Jose Rizal Mercado, which shall be executed by shooting him at 7 o'clock in the morning of the 30th of this month in the field of Bagumbayan. For compliance and the rest that may correspond, let this return to the Judge Advocate Captain Don Rafael Dominguez, Camilo G. de Polajeva, for signing the fatal document ordering the execution of Dr. Jose Rizal. Governor General Polajeva won the eternal odium of the Filipino people. He and other Spanish officials who were responsible for the death of Rizal will evermore remain as obnoxious villains in the Philippines history.